Jeff Bezos is getting a new yacht, said to be the largest yacht ever to sail the seas, or will be, when he can get it from where it's being built to the open seas. The problem is there's a big bridge in the way. This yacht is so large, it has its own yacht, because you need a yacht to maintain and equip the even larger yacht. It needs to sail through a Dutch town and go past an iconic historic Dutch bridge, which isn't tall enough to allow Jeff Bezos' big old yacht to sail under it. Now, for a lot of people, this would seem like an unsolvable problem. Not enough room, can't take the yacht out via that river. But no fear, there's a solution, according to Jeff Bezos, and that is to take the bridge apart and then, theoretically, to put it back together after his shiny brand new yacht has sailed past that point along the river. You can imagine that there are people who are not happy that this is the solution to one person's very first world set of problems. It kind of sounds to me like some of the people working through the solution for this particular problem haven't really attended to some of the themes that we've heard read today from the Gospel according to Luke. These first world problems that they're solving are very much the antithesis, and in Luke. The blessings are in both Matthew and in Luke. They have slightly different contexts in each. In Matthew, they're part of a longer sermon known to us or referenced as the Sermon on the Mount. In Luke, they're part of a shorter sermon, a shorter teaching that we think of as the Sermon on the Plain. But they overlap each other in large degree and give us a point of orientation for Jesus' teaching and concerns, give us a point of departure for what we'll see in his parables and his sermons and his attitude towards the challenges of the world in which he faces. We call them the Beatitudes because of the Latin translation that was read for centuries. The truth is, blessing or blessed is not the most ideal translation for the word that's in the Greek there. The word blessing is really, a tradition that we're holding on to that's into English from the Greek through the Latin. It's kind of a tricky word to wrap your head around. It's not a terribly straightforward word. And some of the various ways different translators have tried to tackle it is this. One is, you're in luck. You're in luck, you who are poor. And another way to think about it, according to some translators, is congratulations. Congratulations, you who are hungry now. Another option is perhaps, or another kind of avenue into the fuller meaning is God is with you. God is with you, you who weep now. When we only use the term blessed with this, we miss the larger sense of the kind of thing Jesus is trying to get to. We miss the ability to see that this is complex, right? We miss the ability to see that it's multifaceted. And of course, the woes have alternative translations to flesh out that meaning as well. The one that I thought was particularly useful and acute and powerful this week is to translate woe instead, you have it coming. You have it coming, you who are rich. You have it coming, you who are full now. You have it coming, you who are laughing now. You have it coming. That probably makes almost all of us a little bit uncomfortable. We'd like to think of ourselves in the category of those who are to be blessed because of our attitude and behavior in the world, and not in the category of those who are to receive woe, or perhaps even more frightening, to receive what we have coming. The mistake we make in even thinking about that as a possibility, am I in this category or I am in that category, is thinking about these things as static. The truth is, all of us have moments where we get it right? Where we share what we have, where we want the same thing for others as we want for ourselves, where we truly grieve injustice, where we're truly outraged by the situations we see in our world. All of us are in the position of recognizing the flaws and injustices and challenges of our culture, our world, our families. But all of us also have moments, right? Moments when we're perhaps a little too selfish, moments where we want better for ourselves than we hope for anyone else, moments when we laugh at the foibles and failings of another. None of this is just one thing. And these are not discrete and static categories. And the truth is, just because you get it right some of the time doesn't mean you're not going to be on the wrong side 3 weeks later. This is about trying to weave into our lives the point of departure for how we see and move and act in the world. I'm thinking about Jeff boat again, a yacht with a yacht. And I'm reminded that, one of the things about boats is that they leave a lot in their wake. The larger the boat, the more it leaves in its wake, I think. I live not far from the East River. The East River along Manhattan and Brooklyn and Long Island City and all of that is among the busiest waterways in the world. And sometimes you see people out amidst the ships and the Staten Island ferry and the other ferries and all sorts of things. You see people out on what look like little teeny water vehicles, water vessels, right? These jet ski sort of things. I'm not sure if that's the exactly right term, but they look to me like jet skis. They look really tiny next to the Staten Island ferry. And they look really tiny in the midst of all of the wakes that are present at almost any time in the East River. They look like they're about to be tossed to and fro. What I'm trying to say here really is, this always seemed to me a bad idea to get on a jet ski or something akin to a jet ski and just ride it around the East River. You really see the power of the wake that's left behind the forward motion of other vehicles. And I'd like you to hang on to that image as you move throughout your day and your week and your life, because all of us leave a wake. All of us leave a wake when we've passed through, when we've encountered a person, when we engage in a relationship, when we go about our day, we leave a wake behind us. And if we orient ourselves with an awareness and a concern and a love and a compassion for those who are grieving and those who sorrow, if we are conscious that there are those who are hungry, who will not have their fill today, and that some of those people are going to be in our path. If we are mindful of the fact that there are a lot of people in this city who are poor, and if we put the concerns of the poor and the hungry and the grieving at the forefront of our choices, then we will have oriented ourselves according to this teaching. If, however, we decide that, bridges in our path can just be dismantled, if we sort of think that if I can make it happen, I should, because it works for me. If we tend to hoard all that we have, well past the point of fullness, and that might mean food, but money and resources and energy and all sorts of other ways we hoard and keep to ourselves the resources at our disposal. If we just think everything's a joke, that will be revealed in the way we move through the world. That will be revealed in the wake we leave behind us. I am so willing to bet that you've had that exact experience, where you were having a tough day or a tough year, or there was something going on, and you encountered somebody, an acquaintance, or even a friend or family member, but somebody who just thought everything was a joke. And they laughed at it and passed on through your life, or passed on through that moment, and you really felt dinged, really felt hurt. The truth is you were harmed, and they just left that in their wake. I think that sort of gets to some of what Jesus is saying about those who laugh now. I think it's less about laughing. Laughing is great. Laughing is supposed to happen in relationships and in friendships and in Christian community. It's not the laughing. It's more the thinking everything's a joke, or laughing at other people's sorrows or hurts or mistakes. It's not about whether you're good or bad, blessed or burdened, whether you are to be congratulated or whether you are going to get what's coming to you. This is about how you choose to see and to be in the world, about those things you prioritize and those concerns you attend to, and the way you treat yourself and one another. Because all of us are going to have days we probably aren't actually going to get what's coming to us, and that's a good thing. And all of us are going to have days where we are just getting it exactly right. We woke up somehow full of kindness and compassion and empathy and love. And it's not one or the other, but it's about choosing who and how you will be in the world. In ancient times, building a bridge could actually be considered an act of mercy. Maintaining a bridge could be considered an act of mercy. This is because, by their nature, bridges existed at boundary lines, right? My territory is on this side of the river, your territory is on that side of the river, and we are both going to stay in our own zones. And so a bridge was kind of, by definition, no one's responsibility. And so if I have built a bridge, and if I maintain that bridge, then I'm not only helping myself, unless I've somehow managed to build a one-way bridge and put somebody on it that doesn't allow anyone who's not my friend on the other side. If I've built and maintained a bridge, then I have created an avenue whereby which people can travel and move. And I've done that not only to the benefit of myself, but to the benefit of one another. I feel like I've picked a little too much on poor Jeff Bezos the last few weeks, because between the rocket and the yacht, I mean, the man doesn't let anything get in his way. Not even an ancient, historic, iconic bridge. He leaves quite a wake. And now we'll leave, I guess, a bigger wake than any other yacht in the known universe. Even with less money, we can all do that, right? Even with less money, we can all move through the world in a way that's entirely selfish and self-serving. And tear down all the things that serve the general good and not just our own personal good. We can all do that. I guess with enough money, you can do that and then maybe rebuild the bridge. But just because you could, Jesus asks you not to. And to instead orient your concerns towards those who are vulnerable, those who are hungry, those who are grieving and sorrowful, and those who are struggling, not because you have to, but because you can. To build bridges. It might slow you down. You might not get to exactly where you wanted to be, but it might allow us all to get there together. To build community to the service of all. As an act of mercy, as an act of grace, and as the path towards blessing. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.